My name is Samady and I am a student at the Liger Learning Center. Recently, I have become interested in researching about suicide. I know that this topic can make some people feel uncomfortable, but it is something that we need to talk about. I want to focus on the causes of suicide and strategies to prevent it. Suicide is defined as the act of intentionally causing one's own death. You might not understand what that means. I didn't either when I first heard it. Intentionally means doing something on purpose. Causing one's own death means someone killing his or herself on purpose because they meant to do it. So in my own words, suicide is an action when people kill themselves on purpose. Luckily, there are many solutions out there to prevent suicide. Unfortunately, not many of them have been developed in Cambodia yet. Today, I would like to share with you about my research and offer some insights of the possible causes and solutions. According to the World Health Organization in 2012, suicide was the second leading cause of death internationally for people ages 15 to 29. Suicide kills over 800,000 people per year, and there are many more who attempt suicide. Overall, there are millions of people who are affected or who experience a suicide-related situation each year. Now, what do these statistics have to do with Cambodia? Cambodia is developing and its population is increasing, but we are still a pretty small country. In fact, a study done by the same organization in the same year showed a suicide rate of 9.4 out of 100,000 people in 1 year. That means that each year about 1,400 Cambodians die due to suicide. My question is, why? First of all, we need to consider that there are significant differences between males and females when it comes to suicide. Before my research, I thought that more females committed suicide than males. But once I studied, I found out from the Asia Pacific Journal of Public Health that the suicide rate in males is twice as high as in females in Cambodia. In contrast, while more boys plan suicide, more girls actually attempt to do it. What this shows me is that when we develop suicide prevention in Cambodia, we need to focus on I wanted to say that when we develop suicide prevention in Cambodia, we need to focus on the culturally appropriate and gender-specific program. This means that the curriculum or the program being used need to relate to a certain type of culture. For example, Khmer. This also means that the solution should target a particular gender. Is it for boys or for girls? Because males and females have different suicidal expression, the program must reduce suicide based on the specific causes. You know what? There isn't one specific causes of suicide. Suicide can come from mental illness, including depression, or bullying, drug abuse, and more. BMC Psychiatry explains that life skills such as communication, empathy, family relationships, how to manage money, and self-esteem are very important and can be connected to mental health problems. What happens when a person has limited life skills? Well, they may not be able to communicate well with people. They might not have friends. They might get a poor education and not be able to get a job. This could lead into a very big depression or make people afraid of telling those around them about their feelings. I recommend implementing life skill training into high schools so that they can teach the students about topics like this. I also learned that one suicide can increase the risk of suicide in other people around that environment. I think what Cambodia should do is when suicide happens, suicide prevention should target the victim's family, friends, or those who were exposed to the situation so that they can help to lower the risk of further suicide. Another basic solution that can be implemented into Cambodia is happening in the United States already. The media doesn't report any teenage suicide because they don't want people who have depression to follow. and get the benefit of getting famous, like being in the news, on TV, or on the internet. This idea sounds pretty good, but I believe it would be even better if the media report the suicide, but with a focus on the positive message about prevention. They could include a list of websites, a contact number for professional help, or positive mental health opportunities. So the solution both help people that like to read the news and the people who have depression. A case study from the American Journal of Psychiatry shows how many Cambodians struggle to identify depression as a serious problem and can affect both physical and mental health. Because many of the older generation experience the comparison, they are used to keeping their emotions inside and not telling their children or grandchildren about it. This may make it harder for them to identify depression in others, let alone treat it. Let me tell you about this case study. There was a 22-year-old Cambodian man who had difficulty sleeping, speaking, and even moving his body. His family brought him to the clinic where they tried many treatments, but there was no cure for his physical illness. One day, this man turned his head toward the music that was playing beside him. It was a love song about heartbreak. That day, he told everything about his story to the clinician instead of his family, because he didn't want his family to make fun of him. The story was that the girl broke up with him in order to marry another man. One interesting fact about the story was that he decided to kill himself by starvation because he was so depressed. But another reason is because he didn't want to bring shame to his family. He wanted the community to think that he died because of natural causes. To treat him, they reminded him that suicide is against Buddha's rule, and that maybe wasn't the right person for him to marry. They predict that he could find a better wife. When I read this case study, I thought it was amazing. This man is actually experiencing depression, but none of the people around him recognize it. They thought he was physically sick. If Cambodia doesn't do a better job on identifying mental health problems, more and more people won't get appropriate treatment. Therefore, my solution is that medical schools in Cambodia should teach more lessons about mental health and train them using real-life situations. This kind of practice can help future doctors to identify these problems faster and easier, so that people will get appropriate diagnosis and treatment they need. In conclusion, suicide is a devastating problem around the world, and if people do not recognize and understand the causes, it could continue to increase. As I said before, no one likes talking about it, but we can't ignore suicide. It won't just go away. There are many solutions out there already. We just need to make suicide prevention a priority. We have to implement culturally appropriate and gender-specific solutions to our small developing country. Researchers have to find accurate and quantitative statistics on suicide, since finding useful up-to-date information about suicide is such a difficult task. I believe if we start to clearly understand suicide, we can help to save the lives of those who struggle with depression and mental health problems. And if you need help or know someone who needs help with suicide prevention or talk about mental health, you can contact the following websites. Thank you for your attention.